Merry Christmas, everyone. Today I'm going to be making shortbread cookies. As my husband and I took time to give thanks and show gratitude for all of our blessings this year, he happened to mention how much he enjoys eating butter cookies or shortbread cookies, and I offered to bake a batch for him. So this is what this episode is going to be all about. So I have 2 sticks of softened butter already in my mixing bowl. I have a cup of confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, and basically I'm going to also add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract along with a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract in with this mixture here. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to let it just beat until it's fully incorporated before I add the flour. And I'll come back once that's been beaten. Welcome back. Now that my mixture has had a chance to get combined, it's extremely fluffy looking. Oh, super, super light looking. So let me just get my, oh yes, exactly what you're looking for. See that? That buttery, just lightness, just butter and powder. It's just buttercream right now, icing right now. But I'm going to add the 2 cups of flour. Let it beat until it's fully incorporated. This dough is a little dry, so don't get worried. You want it to be dry, but you want it to all come together so you can be able to roll it out into whatever shape you want. You want it to be manageable. So let's get the rest of that butter off of there and put that right back in the mixer. And I just have it on low speed until it's fully incorporated. Let me do this first. I nearly forgot. I'm glad I caught myself. Grease the bottom of your pan first. I have a 10-inch and a 8-inch round with the expanded sides, so I can be able to quickly remove my shortbread afterwards without worrying about sticking. Okay, so put this back together. Now it's coated and ready to go. So now let's get this dough in this bowl. In the pan. I decided at the last minute, pardon me, to put on some rubber gloves to help. So here we go. Here we go. Use my hand to get that dough out. Just get as much as that dough off the blade. No need in wasting that. That's a huge portion there, resting on the blade. So get at it. Get it off of there. Waste not, want not. Now, had you been using 9-inch pans, 2 9-inch pans, I would have suggested weighing them, your dough, to be 10.5 inches each evenly. But because I'm using two different sized baking dishes, I should say, I'm just gonna feel this one out. All I know at the end of the day is that I want this, well, it needs to be pressed out to approximately 1/4 inch in thickness. Okay? That's the bottom line. It looks like I'm doing pretty good so far. So I'm just pressing it down to spread it out. It's a very aromatic dough. I don't know if you can tell and see how well this is going. Look at that. Now let me try this one. I have a side dish of water. I thought I would need it, but I don't, as long as I'm using the rubber gloves. So this is the first time I opted to use the gloves instead of my bare hands. When I use my bare hands, pressing this dough requires me to use water for it to not stick to my fingers. But this way is much, much better. That is at least 1/4 inch in thickness. Okay. Now, I'll get a fork, punch in some holes so it can ventilate, and then we're going to bake this at 300 degrees for 35 minutes. Don't have to get too fancy. I decided to just use 2 forks. It also makes for a nice little decoration on top of your cookie. So you don't have to be specific, not unless you want to be. I choose not to be. I don't like being predictable. I really don't. Although I am. I just don't want to be predictable if I can help it. Keep things exciting, right? Okay, so as I said before, just let this bake. Do not open and close the oven door as it bakes, because it will start smelling good and amazing in your kitchen, and you're going to want to reach for a cookie while it's hot. And it won't be ready until it cools. So, as I said before, we will now bake this 350-degree oven for 35 minutes. I'll come back once it comes out of the oven, show you the next step, because that's when we need to cut this. Okay, we are going to keep going. And they just came out of the oven, so they're super, super hot. So now I just want to take them out, give them a quick cut. You could use a pizza cutter. I prefer using my butcher's knife. And then just go right down the middle while it's soft. You have to remember to cut this while it's hot, because once it cools, you will not get through this. It'll just be one giant soft bread cookie. So it's looking gorgeous right now. Keep cutting wedges, and just keep cutting. Okay, and now we're just gonna lift it off of here for it to cool on the cooling rack, independent of each other. And just gather as many as you can, and then just place it on your cooling rack. And this is where they get separated, and this is how they'll cool. Oh, I wish you guys can smell these, but you will smell it when you make it yourself. All right, now let me work on this one while it's still warm. As I mentioned, that's when you have to get to it. Start cutting. This dough is such an easy dough. It's really fail-proof, Angie-proof, foolproof. I don't know what you want to call it, but it definitely worked in my favor today. So I'm going to let this cool, and then I'll come back once the cookies have cooled to show you their depth in crunch and flavor. You can smell it already. Oh, so yummy smelling. Smells like the holidays. Butter is in the air. Okay, one bit of dust, but I get the corner. Yum! Mmm! Way better than store-bought cookies, y'all. Way better. Way better. And how many ingredients was, what, 3, 4, 5? Confectionery sugar, flour, vanilla extract, almond extract, and butter. That was it. So I'm gonna let these cool. I'll come back once they've cooled. Okay, my darlings, the cookies are ready. I have an airtight container here that I'm gonna place them in so my cookies can retain their crispiness. But check it out. Can you hear it? Mmm. Mmm. That is buttery. Mmm. Deliciousness right there. Homemade butter cookies. Super, super easy. Recipe, 5 ingredients, 35 minutes to bake. Maybe 37 minutes to bake, and that's it. And you got yourself some beautiful golden brown shortbread cookies. Maybe next time, instead of using vanilla extract, I might use lemon extract and add some lemon zest and some fresh thyme. Until next time, guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. See you soon in the new year. Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.